95% mindset and 5% strategy? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. We're going to cover it's akin to be a quote that I see over and over again. And the one that I hear the most, it comes from Bob Proctor, where he discusses that success, whether you're talking business success, life success, that it really comes down to 95% mindset versus 5% strategy. And this is a concept that I've agreed with for the most part right off the bat, but I haven't given it as much thought as I have this past year, and noticed that some of the things, projects I've worked on and other things that I've been doing, that even though I tend to be a pretty positive person and tend to have a pretty solid mindset when it comes to things, I can see where the lack of mindset is what holds it back versus the actual strategy behind it. This is from my perspective too, because I come at it. For many years I referred to myself as a business strategist, and I would be brought in to work with companies and to help them kind of decide what's going wrong with their strategy. And it's funny how I ended up in that spot, because the reason why I ended up there is, and it's only occurring to me right now. I mean, I've discussed this in the past, but I'm seeing the bigger picture here. I became a business strategist after being I'm basically a marketing consultant, an overall marketing consultant for a number of years. And I saw that the problem wasn't necessarily as much a marketing issue as it was direction of the business. And as you start peeling away the onion when it comes to having a business and trying to get what you want out of it, you kind of have to define what you want out of it. Otherwise, you don't know whether you're there or not. And so everything kind of happens via whim or emotional state, or, the weather that day, or anything else. And so all these other controls take advantage of your business, including people who may not, whether they know it or not, are driving your business into the ground, employees and consultants and other people. And I saw this happen over and over and over again. So I thought I had pinned it down when I started referring to myself as a strategist. I said, what they really need is a difference in direction. But in reality, and which is really the reason why I moved more into referring to myself as an investor, in reality, what they really needed was a switch in mindset. Whoever is the decision maker needs to change their mindset. Because if they had the proper mindset, the strategy, it comes relatively easily. Or at least they know the right people to trust, and they can fit that in. All of that comes back to mindset. And mindset's a very broad concept to begin with. But if you can separate out, if you could take everything in your business and divide it up into, black and white, step-by-step planning and deciding what to do versus everything else, the mindset, your emotional state, your belief system, your direction that you're going in, all of that, while it plays into strategy, it isn't strategy. It's a level deeper. And if you do not have that right, the reason why the 95.5% doesn't, you can't quantify it. The reason why you would say 95 to 5% is because without the 95%, without the mindset initially, laying the foundation of the building, then the building crumbles if you don't. It will fall over. It will fail if you don't have the foundation set up right. So in a sense, you could just as easily say it's 99%. You could say it's 99.999% of what matters is the mindset. Because your belief system, your direction, your state of mind, your ability in dealing with your own emotional state, let alone the emotional state of everyone else that you end up working with. All those things determine whether the strategy is even gonna be in the right direction. And you can always switch strategy. That's the cool thing. You start going in the wrong way with strategy, you could switch it, but if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have control over yourself and where you're going and a really solid foundation for moving forward, then none of the rest of the strategy matters at all. So it's more of priority versus anything else. You can't do anything without strategy. You can't do anything without the details and the system, but the details and the system and the math, all that stuff goes to back up a proper mindset. So that's why the mindset matters. It's a more priority. It's the first thing that has to be taken care of. It's the major thing that needs to be watched over. And it's not one of these things where, okay, I got a good mindset, we're set, we're moving forward. Now, mindset is a lifelong journey, you know, but it's something you have to have priority over. Not just your mindset, but the mindset of everybody that you work with and how you handle them. All of that matters during the journey of whatever you call would be considered success or business success or any of those things. Mindset is actually paramount. It all depends on who's defining these things. But after I've listened quite a lot to Bob Proctor, and I appreciate him more and more through the years, and his point about that is major. It is the most important thing in the world. Is where you are really at. Where your head is at is what matters most above everything else, because everything else can be handled along the journey. So you may have noticed, if you've watched or listened to our discussions these last, definitely within the last year, that we're focusing more and more on the mindset things and the mind trip things. It's because they matter the most. And hopefully we'll bring some people along. I'd love to hear from you. Do you think that success is 95% mindset versus 5% strategy? Is that really what success is about? Leave a comment wherever you're watching or listening to this. That's all I've got for today. Go check out, if you're wanting, sometimes you got to start with strategy when you're talking to people, because that's where most people keep themselves distracted. That's why I spend a lot of time, when I do talk strategy, I spend a lot of time on very specific strategies, like content marketing. We talk a lot about content marketing. Now, content marketing won't get you anywhere if you don't know where you're going. If you don't have a direction, then content marketing isn't going to be worth it, and you're probably not going to stick with it long enough to make it work anyways. But see whether it's a good idea or not. Go check out my training all on content marketing. Should you even be doing content marketing or not? It's not for everybody. Go check it out. Get that question answered for yourself. contentmarketingquestion.com. That's how you can check out the training. contentmarketingquestion.com. That's all we've got for tonight. You have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.